Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. In this video, I am going to share my IOCL interview experience. So the first question is, introduce yourself. Here I mentioned about my internship, final year project as well as my hobbies. So there were some questions about my hobbies. Then they asked about when did you complete your BTech and what are you doing until now. Friends, I have completed my BTech in 2020, so I had a 2-year gap. So they asked, aren't you trying for any jobs? Then I said, sir, there are not many opportunities for metallurgy students in the past 2 years. Then they asked, are you trying for only PSUs or private companies as well? And they asked me about college placement, and they asked, why didn't you join campus placement? Then they asked about some personal questions, friends. Tell us about your parents and siblings. And as my parents are farmers, and the next question is like, have you heard of ethanol? And do you supply your sugar cane to the ethanol manufacturing and all? They asked some questions about ethanol blending. What is the current percentage of ethanol which is blending to petrol, and what is the target in the future? Then they moved on to the second interviewer. So he started by asking about what is your summer training, how many months did you do it, briefly describe your summer training, summer internship, and tell us what all you did. So I explained the whole process, whole internship, and they asked about what are the solutions that you have offered. Then that is done, friends. Then he asked about what is ductile brittle transition temperature. So I've explained the 50-50 transition and everything. Then they asked what is the ductile brittle transition temperature range for low plane carbon steel. That's done, friends. Then they asked ductile brittle transition usually happen at a lower temperature, right? So, for steel it is around 0 degrees. Then they asked, is there any reverse where you increase the temperature, there the ductility is sacrificed? The question is, for which material the DBDT or ductile brittle transition temperature is on the positive side, like positive temperature. And then he asked me to draw the iron carbon diagram and to point out all the invariant reactions, right? We have eutectic, eutectoid, peritectic, and you draw. And they asked what is the significance of this 727 degrees, the A1 line. And they asked about where is this magnetic change occur, the 768 degrees, that A2 line is there. Then we explained that. Then he asked, what is Barlow's formula? Have you heard of Barlow's formula? Then he moved on to impact testing. What all impact testings are you aware of? Then I mentioned the two, Zord and Charpy. And he asked, what do we do in Charpy test? So the pendulum and all things I have explained. Then what is the property that we are measuring with impact testing? So the question is the toughness, right? So he asked me to show the toughness in a stress strain diagram. So after that, next question is, which is more tough, FCC or BCC, and why and at what temperature you are meaning? We know, right, friends, at room temperature FCC has more active slip systems, and at high temperature BCC has more active slip systems. And the third person, so he asked about mention two positives and negatives of PSUs and private companies, working in PSU and private company. So friends, here there are a lot of HR questions. Your job is across the India, and you may be transferred at any time to any place across the India. Do you think it is an advantage or a disadvantage? So the next question is, next person started some more IOCL related questions. The question is, why do you want to join IOCL company? And they asked, where else have you given interviews until now, and why do you think you didn't get selected at those locations? How many hours per day were you studying for GATE exam? Our job is very serious. You may not have time for your hobbies. How do you think you can manage time? And one ma'am was there, so she started like, why didn't you join your college placement? Because during COVID, getting a job itself is difficult, and you just left that job. Why? Give me an explanation for that. Friends, here there are a lot of cross questions and all that. The next person started with, what is refining? What all products that IOCL make? What are the products after refining? So name some branded products of IOCL. Friends, these all you will get to know in the presentation itself. So they won't ask any questions other than the presentation most probably. So then they ask what is the brand of petrol that IOCL sells. Then what is LPG made of? The propane, butane, the mixture is there, no 40-60 that. And friends, some more HR questions. How passionate are you to work in metallurgy? And after this he said, you are from metallurgy, but I'll post you in some marketing or some area which has nothing to do with the metallurgy. What do you do? Friends, these are all the questions that I could remember. Now I'll try to add some tips which might help you to improve your interviews. The most important one is the introduction. Whatever you write, whatever you prepare for the introduction, make the introduction wisely. Include all the things about which you are very strong, about which you can answer any question from that area, like internships, projects and all. Most of my interview went on my introduction, on the things that I mentioned in my introduction. To practice how to introduce yourself, record your introduction on your mobile camera and you watch it. So after watching it, you will realize where all you can improve. Always keep that smile on your face inside the interview hall and prepare yourself that someone in the interview hall is trying to make you uncomfortable, to know that how you are going to handle in a high pressure situations. They will intentionally try to make you feel uncomfortable, so be careful about that. Friends, one more important thing is, if you don't want to mention your experience or MTech, find a proper explanation for what you have been doing in that free time. It is okay if you don't mention your experience or MTech, but the justification you give for what you have been doing in that free time should be satisfactory. And prepare your internship, project or experience or MTech very well if you are going to mention it. Friends, if you have any doubts, you can comment under this video. I will try to help you as much as possible. All the very best for all those people who have their interview scheduled. Take care. See you in the next video.